Hey, what's up guys? Today's video is all about how I got diagnosed with my chronic illness. Stay tuned to find out more. So I started going to the doctors when I was about 18, I think, and I was having all these symptoms but I couldn't explain why. I went to the doctors because I wanted to find out a bit more about what was going on, because I felt like I'd been hit by a bus and that I'd never slept before, and it was like an ongoing thing and nothing that I was doing on my own was helping that. So I first started going to the doctors after struggling with these symptoms for quite a while, but I didn't quite realise the severity of them until a lot later. My main symptoms at the time were pain in my joints, particularly my arms and my legs, and also fatigue. So I explained this to the doctor, and logically they first asked me about my diet and my sleeping habits. So I'd been vegetarian for a couple of months by this point, so I said that to them. Oh, right, okay then Sarah, well I believe you might have an iron deficiency. Right, off I popped to get a blood test. 2 weeks later my results came back, my iron levels were fine. Right, okay, well that rules that out. I went back to the doctors to discuss the results of the test, and they were like, well, your iron levels are fine, but it still might be because you're a vegetarian. What? And I was like, well, I don't really want to start eating meat again just because of this. That surely can't be the problem. Anyway, off I popped back home. Everything was just kind of getting worse as time went on, and I thought, right, I'll go back to the doctors again and see if they can help me this time. So I went to a different doctor this time. They saw the results of my blood test, explained my medical history, I suppose, and explained what was actually going on with me. Right, okay. They ended up testing me that time for UTIs, just in case something there was causing it. Nothing came back there either. Basically, it was a lot of back and forth to the doctors trying to rule out the more common causes, I suppose, which is completely understandable, and I got that. So a couple of months later, because at this time in my life I was at uni and I had quite a lot going on in my home life, so I was trying to juggle those things as well as myself. I wasn't doing well with any of it, to be honest, but I was muddling through, put it that way. So it took me a couple of months to be able to find the time and the energy to go back to the doctors. So I went back once again, saw yet another doctor, explained everything, even though everything should have been on file, but never mind. The doctor said to me, "You're too young to be having these problems." Yeah. Well, I'm having them, but my age shouldn't be the problem here. So I left that one feeling a bit frustrated and a bit confused, and just thought, well, you know, whatever, I'll just, again, muddling through. But as the time was going on, my symptoms were getting worse. I was just feeling pretty poopy, to be honest. I couldn't really figure out what was going on. No one was helping me, and I just kind of felt like I was left with it. I was having more and more time off university, and my lecturers were a bit like, "Is everything at home okay, Sarah, because something doesn't seem right with you these days." I explained to her my situation and how everything was getting on top of me and things like that, so she agreed that I was able to start doing some more work from home just to make life a little bit easier for me. Again, more months passed by and wasn't feeling any better. I still felt like I was being hit by a bus every single day, and I thought I would go back to the doctors yet again to see if someone else could help me, because I've seen like 3 or 4 doctors by this point and no one seems to be giving me any sort of direction or answers to what's happening. I ended up going back and was told that it was all in my head, which, as you can imagine, wasn't very nice to be told. The doctors ask a lot about what's going on at home and how your mental health is, but they also are quite quick to jump to conclusions that that's the reason why you're having these problems. My mental health at the time wasn't the best at all. I ended up going to therapy as a result of it, and I had a lot of stuff going on, I suppose, which contributed to that. Yes, my mental health was bad, but I was getting worse with my pain and stuff because of that. They were kind of playing off each other in a way. So I came away from that appointment feeling completely deflated, completely just like, why, what's the point anymore? And I just didn't really know where to turn. I ended up focusing more on my mental health to see if that would actually improve my physical state as well. And while it alleviated some of my pain, but it didn't make it go away. So my therapist actually suggested going back to the doctors one more time, basically to put my foot down and say, look, I've been through the ringer here, and I need some sort of direction or some sort of help, because I was just left on my Todd, pretty much. That little bit of fight left in me was enough to carry me through this time. So I thought, one more time and we'll see what happens yet again. I ended up seeing a doctor who was absolutely lovely actually. She didn't seem very dismissive or anything, but she was very matter of fact, which I liked as well. So instead of asking me the usual, what's your life like, what are you eating, do you drink, blah blah blah, she saw all of it on my notes, so we cut out all that bullshit basically. She said, I can see that you've had like a million blood tests by this point. Everything seems fine in that regard. We need to get you some answers because you can't keep living like this. I actually burst into tears because I thought, oh my god, someone's actually wanting to help me for one. I actually started seeing her weekly, and from there she was able to pick up patterns and sort of figure out what was going on a little bit more. After a month had passed, she sat me down and said, right Sarah, I've monitored you now for a while and I think it's a thing called fibromyalgia. So fibromyalgia, that's what it was, supposedly. I needed to be referred to the rheumatologist to get that diagnosis confirmed. And she put me on something called gabapentin, which I started off on like 200 milligrams per day. And during that appointment, she also put a referral in to the rheumatologist. Like I said, I came away from these appointments feeling pretty satisfied that something was getting done, but I wasn't feeling any better. The rheumatologist appointment was about 6 months away, and I was still in regular contact with the GP, and she was upping my doses on gabapentin to see if anything would help. So I actually ended up on 900 milligrams of gabapentin per day, which is a lot. I think the maximum dose per day is about 1,000, and it wasn't cutting it. By that point I was bedbound, I couldn't do anything. What's the point in me taking this medication if it's not working? So yeah, by the time I got to rheumatology I was on 900 milligrams and it wasn't touching the sides. The doctor that I saw at rheumatology confirmed it was fibromyalgia, and the doctor said if you're on 900 milligrams of gabapentin and it's not working, then there's no point putting you up that extra 100 because it's not working for you at all. So he wanted me to come off gabapentin and go on pregabalin. Basically I had to slowly drop my dose over time, and I'm not gonna lie, it was absolutely brutal. I was already struggling to get out of bed and stand up and stuff, but this added a whole new layer of awfulness for me. I felt like I was on a boat half the time. It was really weird because I felt like I was like constantly drunk and that I was quite nauseous at the same time with it. If I stood up for too long, that was it, I was going to be sick. If I laid down for too long, I was going to be sick. I was just all over the place with it. But eventually I came off that and then started on pregabalin. And now I've been on pregabalin ever since, and I think I might need to go up a dose at the moment, but for the most part I think it works for me. It seems to be helping a lot more than the other one, and I've been on it for 3 years now. So I now see my rheumatologist once every year. This is just so that he could check my progress and see how I'm getting on, but I always have the option to ring up his secretary and make an urgent appointment if I need to. 2 years ago I was given a wheelchair to help with my walking and help to preserve energy. I don't really like my wheelchair, and I would like to get an electric wheelchair, but damn, they are expensive. My wheelchair at the moment isn't a self-propelled one, so I can't use it on my own, and to be honest, I don't think I have the strength at the moment to be able to use it on my own anyway, which is why I think an electric wheelchair would be better, but we'll have to see what the future holds for that. So where am I at now with my fibromyalgia diagnosis? I'm gonna be real here and say that I'm not doing too good. Today actually marks a month since I've been in a flare-up. Yes, I've been counting. I went to a wedding fair and I did quite a lot that week, and ended up, basically I pushed myself too far because I'm stubborn and think that I can do it when I'm not, and I should know better. However, saying that, I'm also experiencing new symptoms and stuff which aren't related to fibromyalgia, and they've been going on for about a year now. I'm now waiting for a neurology appointment, which I have to wait until August. However, I don't really want to discuss those just yet because I don't know what is going on there, so I can't really say too much about it. I'm thinking of going private doctors to see neurology, just because I don't know, with the state that I'm in at the moment, I don't know if I can wait until August, but private doctors are expensive and it's gonna cost a hell of a lot. So once again, I'm muddling through. I might document my journey for finding more answers out about what's going on with me. So let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see that. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button down below if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time. Bye!